Well, it's a leaky disaster, an absolute leaky disaster of a transmission.
He made a bloody mess.
You can see the clear heft and size difference. These things, I hate these things. They say they're clockable, they say they fit well, they don't. It don't fit that way. It don't fit that way. Oh, that's so much better. And
Look at that.
so anybody who's worked on cars is gonna know what that's all about, right?
That's a new personal best.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Man, you're way over there. I'm gonna have to do some zoomy stuff on the footage. Right? 2 transmissions. Why is there 2 transmissions? We're at about 5 weeks before Rocky Mountain Race Week, and unlike most of those who are out there currently working on getting their cars out on the road and doing some test and tunes and road testing and making sure that they're good for the drive.
Which I wish we were there.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Instead, I pulled the transmission. Yep, I pulled the Turbo 350 that was in the Chevelle out because, well, it's a leaky disaster, an absolute leaky disaster of a transmission. Now, which right now there's actually not much under the car because I'm pretty sure there's not much left in the transmission. I'm pretty sure we've already cleaned it all up off the floor multiple times over. But aside from that, I don't really know much of anything about this transmission. It did seem to work fine in the car last year, and it only seemed to become a leaky disaster anytime the car sat for more than a day or two. And then it would start just dumping trans fluid out. This is a prime indicator of a pump seal failure. So I did end up ordering a pump seal, and I ordered a pan and a filter so I could do a service on this transmission. That said, with only 5 weeks to go until the car's ready, I've made the executive decision that we're not going to put this transmission back into the car for Rocky Mountain Race Week because I just don't know anything about what's in here. I don't know the condition. Dropping the pan off of it could give some indication how clean, how much clutch material's in it. Like I said, everything seemed to work. That, other than the fact that it definitely needs a pump seal at minimum. Whatever the case, instead of screwing around with this for a couple hours, putting a new pump seal and doing a filter service and all that on there, I looked over in the shop and I have this guy, which is another Turbo 350. This is the transmission that's actually for that Chevy 2 back there that's in gasser conversion process. And I had hoped that car was going to go together this year, but it's clearly not going to happen right now. And it's got a long ways to go. So it's a long ways from actually needing a transmission to do anything other than maybe mock-up stuff, which we have another. So this is the transmission we're going to put into the Chevelle. This transmission is a manual valve body, Turbo 350. The guts have been redone with a bunch of B&M goodies. It's got a nice deep pan on it. And, well, right now it's fit with a 3600 stall converter, which we're actually going to swap out because 3600 stall is a little aggressive for the motor that's in the Chevelle. But otherwise, this transmission is a known factor. So going into Rocky Mountain Race Week with a known factor gives me a lot more comfort than going into Rocky Mountain Race Week with an unknown factor that doesn't have a whole lot of proof time on it. Obviously, this is already out of the car. There was a bit of a fiasco making that happen earlier today because, well, the Chevelle is fit with long tube headers. Well, at the moment, it's only fit with one long tube header. The other is right here. This had to come completely out to get the transmission out. To get this out, I had to take the starter out because, oh God. There's still people who are using these behemoth old old starters. This thing is, it's over 20 pounds. It's probably 21, 22 pounds, something like that. I weighed one a while back. It was right, I think it was right about 21 pounds. It's the typical traditional old small block Chevy starter, big block Chevy starter. These things are ridiculously heavy. They're ridiculously big, and it was damn near impossible to get this out with the header on. So I had to unbolt the header, squeeze it to the side because I couldn't get the header out with the starter in place, then fight to get the starter out. Once the starter got past the header, I was able to get the header out the bottom of the car as well. So that was all fun and fine and dandy, I guess. But once those two items were out of the way, the transmission actually came out pretty easy. Replacing that starter is going to be this little guy, which is another OEM starter. Now, let me tell you what. If you've got a small block Chevy, I don't care what generation of small block Chevy it is, if it's got the configuration to take the spread bolt pattern or the diagonal bolt pattern, you can see it there, which our original starter was the same, that diagonal bolt pattern, you can see the clear heft and size difference in these starters, right? This guy weighs 7 pounds, and this one, like I said, closer to 20 plus. Permanent magnet starters are far smaller. It is a gear reduction starter, OEM fit, and these work fantastic. I have been using them for years on hot rods. Anytime I have to do a starter on a small block Chevy, this is what I get. Now, what you need to know is you want to put one of these on your car, and I recommend this OEM starter over any of the high performance starters. Actually, I'll even show you one. I have one. They're awful. These guys, you've all seen them, right? These things, I hate these things. They say they're clockable. They say they fit well. They don't. They seem to die really easy. They're a pain to clock. And they're also always need shimming. That's always a pain in the neck to get sorted out. This one weighs the same as one of those, and I have never even had to shim one. They just fit and work every time. If you want one of these, and you want one that's gonna fit your motor, you want to go to Napa, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, whatever your big box store, auto parts store favorite is, they're all gonna have it. And you're gonna ask them for a starter for a 1995 Chevy Express or G20 van that's got a 5.7 liter V8 in it. When they pull it up, their system is going to give you the option to buy the big ugly one still. I know, why? Why do they even have them? I don't know. Don't waste your money on it. Get this guy, even though it's a little more expensive, this is the way to go. The other nice thing with this, I'll be able to change the starter without taking the header off. So, that's pretty great. The torque converter that was in our presumed stock Turbo 350 is presumed a stock torque converter, which is probably like something like a 1600 stall converter. We're going to be putting in this little guy right here from TCI. This is a, what is it? It's a 24 to 2600 stall converter, and it's not too wild, a little over stock. Should help the motor spool up right out of the hole and get a little bit more oomph on the starting line. So that should be a real nice upgrade. Not to mention, if you look at the size difference on this son of a gun versus the stock. Oh, get out of my way, stuff. Too much stuff, not enough space. But you can see right out the gate that this guy is significantly smaller than that guy, which means ultimately, I'm sure it weighs less. I haven't put either one of them on a scale, but I'm sure it weighs less. Less rotational mass means that you're losing less power through your drivetrain. So this should be a real nice upgrade. Now, I need to get to work. First up, I think we need to actually swap this converter in for the 3600 that's on this transmission, and then we can start working on getting this guy under the car.
Supposed to what?
Okay, so when you're installing a converter into a Turbo 350 and probably many other transmissions, I don't know how many or exactly which models, but as it goes in, there should be 3 notable clunks. Please don't dump fluid out. Okay, good. Okay, so I put 1 quart of oil into this converter, and that might have been a little much for a 10-inch converter. Let me adjust the transmission so that the snout's not nose down or nose up. That way we don't have to roll this thing over quite as far. And hopefully not make as much of a mess. I'll be right back for the 3 clunks. Okay, so I tilted the transmission on the transmission jack, which, by the way, transmission jacks, they are quite handy. You don't need one to do this, to change a transmission, but they definitely are nice to have. So, like I said, 3 clunks, transmission's tilted down. Hopefully we won't make too much of a mess, but we're going no matter what this time. One thing you may want to take a look at when you're getting ready to do this, so you don't have to fight it as much, is inside around the main shaft, which you won't be able to see too well on camera, but you can actually see the 2 tangs inside there that will line up with the 2 slots on the main shaft of the converter. So if you know about where those are, it might make it a little bit easier and a little bit less of a fight to get the converter in. But we're going for it. Maybe. There's no way that's in all the way. Come on. Come on. Rest. That can't be in all the way. I know it. Come on. Okay, now we're fighting. Well, maybe it's in all the way. No, there's no way. There's no way. This is a converter for this transmission. I'm sure of it. Oh, there we go.
2.
I think that's actually 3. I think the first one's where we got stuck.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that is in. So the first clunk happened where we got stuck for a second. Then we got the second one, and then that third one, it's fully engaged. So, and that looks about right behind the face of the bell housing. I don't know if there's an exact measurement there, but these mounting faces here should not be flush out here. They should be set back, and it looks like it's probably 3/4 of an inch to an inch back behind the face of the bell housing. I think that's about right. I'll double check it against the other transmission. Actually, we can go take a quick look right now. Let's measure it. We'll show them. So from right there to the outside of the transmission, yeah, that's damn close to 3/4 of an inch. It's eyeball close at 3/4.
Did you get that lucky with that torque converter?
What do you mean did I get that lucky? That wasn't lucky.
Not having to fight with it?
No, I did have to fight with it. So if we look at this one, yeah, that's pretty damn close at 3/4 of an inch off the face right there. And seeing as that one hasn't been out, I'm going to say that 3/4 of an inch is about the right depth on the face of the transmission to the mounting surface on the converter for the flywheel. We're going to call that a win.
Ready?
Yep. So this is the sketchiest part of this whole job right now. And if you're doing a transmission at home and you're doing it on a car that doesn't have a whole lot of ground clearance, and it's a transmission that's heavy enough that you can't bench press it, and whether it's me being weak or it's just the fact that a Turbo 350 is not exactly light, I can't bench press a Turbo 350 or even get it picked back up onto the jack under the car. Just not that strong. So we're not up high enough. Now that I'm looking at it, we're gonna have to go a couple more pumps.
Okay.
this part, well, if what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come right up by the front wheel, which is too far forward, and that's where you can slip the bell housing through, and you don't have to be quite as high with the car to get past there. But as you can see, the car is way up there, and well, the jack is about maxed out, and it's got wood blocks on top of it. So this is definitely the sketchy part, that you really don't want to spend any time under the car in this condition. But once you get it past the frame,
Any more?
nope, we're past that part. Once you can get past the frame, and in my case, past the exhaust, because the exhaust is still hanging down under here. Oh. Yeah, we might need one more pump to get past the exhaust.
Okay.
Okay. Get in there. Get behind the motor. Okay, you can start bringing it down. Let me get out of the way.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get it back down to a safer condition. Nice and easy.
I know.
We don't want to kill any parts or ourselves. There you go, nice and easy. As soon as those tires make touchdown, then we can.
Then we're good.
We're good. Oh, stop.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead and hold it right there for a second. Let me find out what caught. Okay. The exhaust caught,
okay.
caught the bell housing.
Okay.
Okay, a little more down.
Tires have met.
Okay, we're good. Lock the jack right there. Oop, nope, not more down.
Oh.
Okay, we'll work with that. So, yeah, you can get it under there, but just know that that part's real sketchy, and don't spend any more time under the car than absolutely necessary, because it's not worth getting crushed by a car on a sketchy jack setup trying to get your transmission in there. Be very careful. Very careful. Well, can't tell because the shop is closed and the lights are on, but it's many hours later. There's no transmissions out. The transmission is in and secured. I did have to fight with it a little bit.
He made a bloody mess.
Yeah, so I pulled the dipstick tube out of the transmission we took out of the car because, well, the dipstick tube that was on the transmission we put in the car wasn't the right shape to fit around the firewall. Didn't quite go in there right, so I was like, oh, I'll just pull the flexible tube off of this one that was already in there. We know that works. And as soon as I pulled that out of there, this transmission decided it was going to puke all over again. So this is like the 4th or 5th time this transmission has puked all over the floor. And yeah, only thing I can think of is, and now someone might suggest that maybe that this transmission had too much fluid in it. And I assure you, it was checked multiple times last year when we were taking the car out, when we were going and doing King of the Open Road and doing some other test and tune nights for Paige to enjoy, and checked the transmission, engine running, cycled through the gears, yada, 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 whole 9 yards. And the fluid level in the transmission was actually correct before it started puking, but it had the correct fluid level. So everything that it's puking out of it right now is drained back from the rest of the transmission, most likely all out of the converter, because it's almost certainly got a bad pump seal. That's very likely the case, is the pump seal is probably bad and the converter just keeps draining into the pan and it keeps leaking everywhere. And clearly the dipstick tube unleashed another bloodbath. Whatever, not gonna worry about that. That's a problem for sometime in the future. In the meantime, I do have the header back in the car and the transmission's in, and you may have noticed that I have a starter in my hand, and this cute little guy, I don't even mind carrying it around because it's so nice and lightweight.
Is it your new purse?
This, how you like them apples, huh? I wanted to show you that long tube headers, if you've got long tube headers, getting a starter in is always a pain in the neck. Especially when you're dealing with something like this behemoth of a starter. That thing is heavy, it's bulky, it's hard to maneuver around. So even though this is not going to be a permanent install of the starter, because I've got some wiring to address that I discovered taking that starter out that needs some fixing. Someone didn't do a very good job on putting terminals on. There's a nice,
And that just fell off.
nice terminal in that just came off in my hand when I was pulling the wires off the starter, and I promise you I didn't pull on that and it just off in my hand. So that may have been a charging issue that we were seeing last year towards before we put the car away. We were noticing some odd behavior in the charging. I thought maybe the alternator was going out, but I wouldn't be surprised to find out that that was the charge wire connector that just fell off. Anyway, let's stuff this in there. This camera angle might be a little bit weird. We're gonna see what we can do. And as far as lighting, we'll try and make it as clear as possible. Welcome to the bottom side of the Chevelle, which is actually pretty nice, by the way. If you've never seen under this car, it's actually pretty nice under here.
We both almost took naps under here today.
Yeah. So first things first, if you are swapping out the behemoth starter for one of these bad boys, the bolts from your behemoth are going to be too long. As you can see, the threads don't go all the way down to the top of the starter, and that sticks out too far. You'll either have to get washers to pull them down or get shorter bolts, starter bolts. Again, the application for that was the G20 Express van or G20 Chevy van. You could probably get those bolts, or you can just get whatever bolts you want. It's not a special bolt, it's just a long bolt. So anyway, let me grab the behemoth. We'll show you that don't fit. Oh, get over here. Here's the big ugly sumbitch. Oh,
Hey.
did I just say that?
Yep.
What did I say? I won't say it again. They didn't hear it. Okay.
Big old son of a biscuit.
Biscuit. You can see that this thing, it don't fit that way. It don't fit that way.
So if this thing went out on us,
And
not a good, easy.
It's definitely not an easy fix, and it's heavy that way. Oh. Okay. So we're done with that one. That's all the lifting I'm going to do of that guy. I'll grab a bolt and the other bolt just so that I have them handy. Oh, that's so much better. And
Look at that.
right up in place. And I'm not killing myself to hold it up there. There we go. Now my transcooler lines are very inconveniently located. Let's see, can I get... All right. And that bolt is started. So you can see if I didn't have my transcooler lines right up in my way, I could get the other bolt in, but I gotta fight with the transcooler lines because they were very conveniently routed right in the way, and I don't have leverage handy to try and wiggle them. Is that enough? Is that enough? Oh yeah, there we go. I can do it that way. Now, as long as your transcooler lines aren't in the way like mine are, and there it goes. Okay, so that bolt is started. And again, if these were shorter bolts, which I will get shorter bolts, yeah, it's in. That would suck up right there, no problem. Easy install, nice and lightweight. And looks like our flywheel engagement, just from a quick look, is going to be probably right on the money. And I have, well, sorry, let me correct myself, flex plate engagement. I have used this on stick shift applications, this same starter with the flywheel, doesn't matter. The only thing that does matter is that if it's a 168 tooth or a 153 tooth flex plate or flywheel, that will make a difference. This one is a 168 tooth, and this starter is for a 168 tooth application. If you've got a 153 tooth application, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly which model you'll need. You'll have to do a little bit of homework, but this starter is available for the smaller flex plate too. I have seen it before. Anyway, that's why you get rid of this ugly thing, because long tube header bolted in place, that starter just falls in there. I mean, piece of cake, right? Right. So anybody who's worked on cars is going to know what that's all about, right? Right? Proper mandate. Proper mandate. There's a lot of things on that list.
Well,
We got 4 more weekends. 4 more weekends to have the list done. Not including anything that has not made it on that list that has been overlooked.
yeah.
We'll start from the top.
So the dipstick O-ring, obviously, we're gonna try and figure that out. We're gonna either try and drop the transmission.
They're over there.
I know. We're either gonna try and drop the transmission and get the dipstick that was on the transmission to work, but right now it's not fitting. So if we want to switch to the other dipstick, we just need to get a different O-ring. So we'll figure out which one we're gonna go with as soon as we figure that out.
Basically, I was a dipstick, and the dipstick's not in the transmission.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And then an alternator. We did get a different alternator from Summit, so
Yep.
we're gonna transfer that. And then the next. Did you
Yeah,
have
speaking
something?
of
Oh.
alternator, so the one that's in the car, right there, looks like an OE type unit, probably like a 60 amp or 65 amp unit. We're going to be swapping that out for this bad boy right here, which is got one key feature that's going to make
Yes.
a big difference.
We'll clean it up.
This is an internally regulated one wire, so we'll be able to clean up the wiring a little bit, and hopefully this will also give us a more reliable charge to ensure that we don't have any issues running our dual fan setup, because this is a 90 amp, 100 amp, 150 amp. Ooh, we went for the big bad dog on this one. 150
Yeah.
amp. Yeah, you may have noticed that it has a serpentine style pulley on it. You got to turn it a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Serpentine style ribbed pulley. That's no big deal. We're just going to pull the pulley and fan off of the unit that's in the car, slime it on that unit, and then stick that bad boy in here. But the 150 amp unit, when running the dual fan setup, is going to significantly improve our ability to make sure that our voltage always stays at the appropriate level. It doesn't start dropping low and then our fans underpower, we lose cooling or any of that sort of stuff, because Rocky Mountain Race Week is in June, and there is about 1,000 miles of road driving, which we will be doing for the most part in the middle of the afternoon to late afternoon, early evening
The hot
time frame.
spots of the day.
So the drives will start in the hottest part of the day and drive into the cooler part of the evening. Long story short, we don't want to have issues powering stuff. So the 150 amp alternator definitely going to be a key element in making sure that system works. And then the other part of it is I'm going to be making sure that the wiring's actually put together correctly to actually charge properly, not have connectors that are just falling off.
Next is
go on.
exhaust, which we're not going to do anything with the exhaust. It just
exhaust.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. sorry. Yeah, sorry.
That's a new thing. The
Hexox.
The hexhaust.
Yeah.
Hexhaust.
Yeah.
Hexhaust.
We're not going to be doing anything new or anything. We're just literally going to be putting it back on because we disconnected it. Next on the list is a surprise. So you guys do have to stay tuned.
That should have been down at the bottom.
It will
of the
be
list.
coming. No, it's got to be in the middle because then they gotta stay with us.
Okay, if you say so. Hopefully the parts for the surprise actually show up in time for us to put them on the car because
right now we're
still waiting.
Yeah.
Don't even have shipping notice yet.
Next is fuel tank. So we did get a fuel tank because we're not going with a fuel cell in the back. We are going to be using the trunk, so we went with the actual fuel tank that goes underneath the cars, and we actually got that. It's up in the garage.
That was delivered today. We have a factory gas tank.
Yes.
It's I did notice that it didn't come with a gas cap, so we might have to figure out a gas cap for it. But who cares?
We'll figure that out.
Local parts stores got one. Maybe we shove a rag in it. I don't know. Whatever the case, we're good on the gas tank.
Yes. Next is a floor and carpet. Obviously, one of the requirements was that we have to have carpet in the vehicle.
Here. You can keep telling them that.
What?
You can keep going.
What are you doing? Oh, and door panels. So requirements is that we have to have carpet and door panels. Actually, I will kind of show you guys a little bit. So we did get the heat resistant.
Yeah, heat shield insulation.
Heat shield. So we did get a heat shield. It's not installed, so no judgments. That is not perfect because it's not installed yet. But we have it all laid out and ready to go. And then we also had amazing people. Cole reached out on Rocky Mountain Race Week to give us some suggestions on where to get cheap carpet, because obviously this is just going to be for Rocky Mountain Race Week. We are not going to do a full-on carpet install. So we are going to put the heat protectant down, and then we're going to find the cheapest carpet probably at Lowe's or Home Depot, kind of lay it in there, get it kind of semi in there, but it's not staying. It's not going to be permanent. So next is complete the front end. We did put the inner wheel wells back on. So the fenders and the inner wheel wells are actually on and good.
Yeah, fully bolted. They're shimmed. We've got pretty reasonable door gaps. Driver's side looks about the same, and ultimately they're where they're going to live. So now it's well,
the grill and the
there's a few more
bumper
pieces missing off the front end that still all needs to be put back together.
Yes, yes. Next, we are also going to add roof padding. So we did get some roof padding to obviously the heat resistant, try and keep heat away from us. It's a similar product to what we're using under the carpet, but it's a little bit thicker and a little bit lighter actually. It's more of a foam with an adhesive back. And basically it's gonna serve as a headliner in the car. You don't have to unroll it. It'll be in a future video. What is this?
But it's basically just an adhesive back foam. It was fairly inexpensive, available on Amazon, and I was like, perfect, something to put a slight barrier between that thin piece of sheet metal that's going to get up to 1,000 degrees out in the summer sun.
And we scraped off all the old
heads.
stuff, so it was like, ugh. Next, back seat. So obviously we're not going to reupholster the back seat, but we did get a seat cover for the back seat.
Yeah, it's sitting over there. It's ugly.
Because we do have to have the back seat.
Yep.
It is another requirement. We have to have it in there. So I just got an Amazon special seat cover for a bench seat, and we're just going to throw that on.
Yeah,
So.
it's a black vinyl seat cover. It'll make it look fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be 1,000 degrees to sit on, but yeah, not my problem. I'm not sitting on it.
Nope. And then also we need to do the lights, make sure all of the lights are in and functional. And then we also need to get new gaskets, because all the gaskets kind of fell apart when I was cleaning them. So
yeah, turns out 50-something-year-old, 60-year-old, 61-year-old.
Yeah.
Wow, this car's 61
Well,
years
some
old.
gaskets were actually missing. And then when I was trying to clean up the lights and everything, the housings and stuff, literally the gaskets were falling apart on me. So I was like, beep it, and we're buying new ones.
Beep it.
Well, I can't say the other word. Budget, I'm buying new ones. So
Yep. Frack that.
frack that. Plug wires.
Yep. So right now the car's got a set of Taylor 8mm plug wires. A couple of them have some burn marks on them from resting against the headers. So we're gonna go ahead and build a whole new set.
I got an amazing set from, shout out to my mother-in-law. I love you so much. She got me amazing set of pink ones.
Bright pink plug wires. So
So that's gonna go in.
that'll pop in the engine bay pretty good, I think.
Intake and carb.
Yeah, we're basically one of the things we ran into last year, the last time the car was out at the track. This has got a 600 CFM Holly on it right now, which was a late change last year from an Edelbrock carburetor that was on there that I just did not like at all. I'm just not a fan of the Edelbrock
And it was
1406
starving
style
for
carburetor.
fuel.
And when we changed from the Edelbrock, the best the car ran last year with the Edelbrock on it was a 1440. We put the 600 CFM Holly on it, and it ran a 1420 with that. So we picked up 2/10 just switching to that carburetor, but it was definitely needed more fuel than the 600 was delivering. And the other problem that we have, and the reason I'm changing the intake, is right now this is running a 1-inch spacer, but the reason it's running that spacer is because it needed an adapter. This intake is for a spread bore carburetor, and all the carburetors I own are square bore. So to get those to kind of work decently well together, you have to run a spacer that's a transition spacer between the two patterns. We're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna pull this intake, and we're actually gonna go with one that I have to pull off of another motor because I don't have one loose. But this intake right here is an Edelbrock RPM, which is a dual plane similar to what we have on the car, but Engine Masters has done all kinds of testing on them, and the Edelbrock RPM is probably the best intake you can run on a motor that's under 6,000 RPM performance. And with the cam that's in this motor, the peak performance is probably right around 5,200 RPM, give or take, 53, something like that. So an air gap is not the right one. Air gaps do tend to make more high-end power, but you have to rev up to around 6,000 RPM to really see that difference. So the regular RPM is the one we're gonna put on there. And since I have one right over there, that's what we're gonna use. And then the carburetor that was sitting on top of it is a 750 Holly. So we're gonna use that carburetor, the 750, with that intake on this motor. And that should solve any fueling issues. We might have to play with jets a little bit, so I'll make sure I'm prepared to do that. But it hopefully will pick up a little bit from having a little bit more efficient and better intake induction system and a little bit more potential fuel available.
We will be changing the coolant overflow because we know that is not the right thing. We know, guys.
It got the job done last year.
But it did.
It got us through.
It got us through tech. Nobody said
year,
anything,
so.
but we are going to be putting on this one.
That is a proper coolant overflow. It is just a straight overflow coolant. The overflow off the radiator will come in here, and it's got a drain petcock on it so that it can be sealed up when it's going down the track, and then we can have the ability to open it and drain it. And pretty simple. I'll end up making just a simple bracket out of some strap that can secure to, and it'll be easy peasy. It's probably turn into like a 4-hour job, you know.
And the last thing on the list, obviously, we do have seatbelts, but we just need to put them back in the car, just like we need to put the seats in the car, back in the car, just because we have to do the flooring. So everything has to come out of it to be able to do the flooring. And then the biggest, finalist thing ever, we need to take it and test it.
I doubt we'll get any track testing in. I doubt it. I don't think we're going to have it done in time to do a track night, but we at least need to drive it down the road.
Maybe take it down a back road and kind of stomp on it a little bit.
Maybe do a little bit of
At least try before we.
Yeah, but before we can even do that, we've got to go through. Leak check it, test the lights, check
all of it. We need to make sure that nothing's leaking, everything's good to go, because there are a lot of, obviously, you have to have blinkers, you have to have working lights, you have to do this, you have to do that. So, and we want to make sure that
checklist. We need to go through our checklist for the event too.
Actually print it off and make sure, go through and
we need
make
to go
sure
through
that
the checklist and make sure that everything works and will pass tech.
Yes, because the one thing about Rocky Mountain Race Week is that they actually allow you to do video tech.
Oh, we're not going to get there.
But we in no way, shape, or form was ready for that. That was about a month ago that you could send your video in.
I think they're still accepting them, but obviously we're not ready.
Which, obviously going through tech takes time and stuff. So being able to do a video, then you're boom, bang, you're done. But maybe next year we'll be able to do a video tech and be done with it.
So add tech checklist somewhere on there. Get it. Come on, stretch. Stretch it out. You got it? Oh, goodness. All right.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up this video. It's been a very, very, very long day. It is absolutely super late, actually.
No. Maybe. See you guys on the next one.
Bye.